All right, time now for Pinpoint Weather and Traffic together. We say good morning again to Michelle Muscatello. Michelle, you're constantly getting more and more updates on this storm. What's the latest?
Well, the National Hurricane Center just issued a hurricane watch for our coastal areas. You can see here the areas in pink. That includes all the way up Narragansett Bay into the Providence area, eastern Kent County, Warwick included in that, Cranston, all of the East Bay, and eastward to the Cape and the islands. A tropical storm watch issued for northwest Rhode Island, inland parts of Bristol and Plymouth counties as well. And so this is just happening at the moment. And I do want to break down for you the difference between a hurricane watch and a hurricane warning. So basically the hurricane watch just means that hurricane conditions are possible within the next 48 hours. If it were upgraded to a warning, that would mean that hurricane conditions were likely in our area within the next 36 hours or less. So as this storm gets closer to us, some of our watches, both tropical storm and hurricane, may be upgraded to a warning. The other thing that the National Weather Service locally did this morning was to issue a flood watch. And this isn't surprising at all, based on both the potential for coastal storm surge flooding and heavy rainfall flooding. And so it goes into effect Saturday evening and lasting until late Sunday night. And I expect they'll put more specifics on that as we kind of get closer and into the upcoming weekend. But let's start it off looking at the hurricane watches and warnings that are now extending up and down the east coast of the U.S. You can see basically from North Carolina and parts of South Carolina northward up and down the mid-Atlantic coastline and into New England. And as we take a look here at the latest satellite and radar imagery, again, the outer rain bands from Irene starting to work its way towards the North Carolina coast. This is the center of the storm. And at the moment, last check from our hurricane hunters that are just getting back from investigating this storm, it did weaken slightly. Now we're just talking a few miles per hour. It went from 115 miles per hour to 110 mile an hour sustained wind. So not a big difference, but it did change it to a Category 2 at least briefly. We're still forecasting the storm to be a Category 3 hurricane as it approaches the outer banks of North Carolina. Now, the latest track from the National Hurricane Center has it as a Category 2 storm Sunday night as it races up the mid-Atlantic coastline and then potentially weakening to a Category 1 hurricane as it crosses Long Island into Connecticut. There's been a little bit of a shift in the track to the east. That puts us a little bit closer to the center of the storm. Now, we're still 2 days out, so this track can change more to the west or more to the east, but this more eastern track for us, and I've seen it in our computer models as well this morning, means that the impact for us could be a little bit greater. So again, this is not written in stone in terms of the track, but any shift east or west changes the impacts for our area in terms of how damaging the storm could be. But the storm timing for this weekend, I expect the outer rain bands to begin to arrive on Saturday. We're looking at off and on showers and gusty winds during the day. Sunday is deteriorating conditions through the morning. The winds will be picking up, the rain will be picking up, but still the height of this storm slated to be in the afternoon and evening. And one of the things that we're starting to get more and more concerned about is the potential for storm surge flooding with this system. Not only with the position of it off to our west, it'll drive the winds and the ocean waters up our bays, both Buzzards and Narragansett Bay, and it may coincide with our evening high tide around 8 o'clock in the evening. So we're looking at today starting to see the waves and the swells from Irene as well as dangerous rip currents in our local waters. There may be a tornado watch. Typically in the northeast quadrant of the hurricane where we will be, you can see some weak tornadoes. So we'll be watching for that. Hurricane force winds and tropical storm force winds are certainly a potential. Again, we'll be looking at coastal flooding and possibly some power outages, or likely some power outages from this storm. Live city cam pictures over Providence. It's still quiet today. This is a rain-free day, and the good news from the front that came through overnight, we did not see a lot of heavy rain, and that will help us out here as we approach the weekend. But we are looking at potentially, based on the track right now, I would say maybe 3 to 7 inches of rain in our area from this storm. The western side of the hurricane could see as much as 10 to 15 inches. So we're not going to see as much rain as parts of the northeast could see, but I'm more concerned with the track that I'm seeing right now with the potential for wind damage and storm surge coastal flooding. So definitely check back in for updates on this storm. It should be out of here by Monday, actually late Sunday night. So Tony's back tonight live at 5. You can also follow us on Twitter at Pinpoint Weather Team.